What is up, YouTube? Today I am back again with another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you can see, I am doing a review of a game that I have really been enjoying playing lately, and that game is called Homeworld Remastered Collection. Now, this game is a game that I've really enjoyed for a long time. I used to play it back when it was Homeworld 1 and 2 on the PC. I have a physical copy of Homeworld 2, but a couple years ago they released the remastered version of those games, and I decided to pick them up. And I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on the game itself, how some things function, and what my thoughts of are the remastered versus the originals, and if I think it's worth picking up today. So, this game is a 3D space strategy RTS, and the whole purpose of this game is to gather resources. There's only one type of resource in this game, and build your fleet of ships and destroy the enemy fleet. So, it's a really cool, simple RTS. So if it's your first time playing an RTS, it's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of different resource management like in some games like Age of Empires or Empire Earth, which is nice. But it still gives you a good amount of options, such as a lot of different units to create and a lot of different subsystems to add to your ships, which makes it very fun. And I think it strikes that perfect balance of simplicity and fun, whereas some games become too simplistic, where a lot of some beginner RTSs are too simplistic. There's not a whole lot you can really do. I think this gives you a nice balance, and it keeps you entertained, and it's fun, and it's just really well made. It's a great RTS. So it's something that I've been playing for a long time. Now, there are I'll talk a little bit about the different races and stuff that you can be. You can There's two main races in Homeworld 2, the Higurian and the Vager. I'm probably butchering those names, to be completely honest. And there are two also in the Homeworld 1 game. But in the remaster, they included some mods from the they had some mods that you could add that they have included by default in the Homeworld Remastered, so that's kind of cool. Now, one thing I will say about this game is it is incredibly graphically impressive. When it first came out, the graphics, honestly, for the remaster aren't that much different than the graphics for the original version. You just have higher resolutions and better particle effects is pretty much the only thing that's really been changed. A lot of the models have, very, very similar look with just a little bit more added detail for HD resolutions, and all the effects are the same. So if you did plan on playing the originals, I think it's not that bad of an option. Now, what do I think this game does well? I think this game does really, really well in basically blank scenario combat games. I think it does a really good job. There's a lot of units, like I said, and there's a lot of depth to building your fleet, and I think it does a good job on balancing and fun between all the different races and the different ships you can create. Now, what things does this not do well? I would have to say the things that Homeworld doesn't do very well is it doesn't have a very great campaign, in my opinion. I know some people really like the campaign for this game, but I'm not a huge fan of it. The pretty much the depth on anything besides building a fleet and battling is not really there. Basically, the entire purpose of this game is gather the one resource and then build a fleet to destroy your enemies. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot that you can do in this game. But if you are a big sci-fi fan that likes the different types of ships and likes space battles and stuff like that, I think this is a great option. Now, one thing I want to touch on really quickly as well is mods. Now, you can mod this game quite a lot. There are mods for the classic version of Homeworld 2, and there are mods for the remastered version. Now, I want to talk about one thing in specific when it comes to mods: the stability. Now, right now you're seeing me play Homeworld Remastered, and it seems really stable and it works really well. And it is. But when it comes to mods, the remastered mods are incredibly unstable compared to the mods for the classic version of the game. There will be times when I go to play a mod for Homeworld Remastered and it will crash upon boot. I've had a lot of the mods will play perfectly fine, but when you go to save the game, it'll crash. Or sometimes if there's too many units in your screen, it'll crash. And it doesn't matter what resolution you choose or what graphics options you have. Right now I have the graphics maxed out, but if you have graphics set to minimum, lower resolutions, or anything of the sort to try to increase performance, it doesn't really matter. It still crashes a ton when you add mods into the mix. And it's been noted on several social media websites and stuff like that about these crashes, and I've seen threads going all the way back to 2016 that have the same exact problem that I have, because it spits out a same error code, and it doesn't seem like they're going to update it or fix any of the errors that they've got. So that's one of the downsides to, I would say, this game. Now, if you wanted to use the mods in the classic version, they are much more stable. Anytime I want to play a mod, I normally look if there's a classic version first, and if there is, I download and play that. And for a lot of those mods that work on Homeworld 2 Classic, they run just as well as the base game itself. Now, the downside to running the classic mods is you're going to have less updated mods. A lot of the mods for Homeworld 2 Classic are not updated anymore. They no longer are supported and are behind on features compared to their remastered versions. So what that means is, yeah, you'll be able to play some of the same mods, but some of the remastered versions of those mods will have more ships, more different races, and stuff of that nature. Now, it depends on what mod you're choosing, but that could be a serious downside. For instance, if you're talking about the Star Trek mod, there are tons of ships that are just completely missing from the classic version of that mod. In the remaster, there are entire new races. You can play as the Borg, you can play as the Cardassians, and you can play as tons of other races that you can't play in on the original mod. In the original mod, you can only play original series, Federation, Romulans, or Klingons. You have the option to play next generation stuff in the remastered version, including the Borg and the Cardassians and extra races such as that. And you even have Enterprise stuff. So there's a lot of different stuff that you'll be missing out on if you play the original version. Now, one other thing I want to talk about is the user interface. I think the user interface is better in the classic version than the remastered version, although the remastered version is very usable and it kind of gets out of the way and it makes the battles look a lot more cinematic. I think in terms of usability and actual serious gameplay, Homeworld 2 Classic has the best user interface. So that's basically my quick thoughts on this game. I've been playing a ton of this game lately. It's one of my favorite RTSs of all time. I absolutely love playing this game. There's so many ships that you can build, and the combat is so much fun to watch, and the graphics are so good. I'll have clips of both Homeworld Remastered, that's just vanilla with no mods, and I'll have some clips of Homeworld 2 Classic with some mods on it, and so you can see a little bit of what the graphics are like for each. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment box below of this quick review, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.